All right, 5 o'clock, calling meeting of the school board of Fairmont School District, Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. All are present except Nicole, who will be joining us probably in a little while. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We need to approve the minutes from the June 13th, 2023 school board meeting. Can I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 13th, 2023 school board meeting.
Second.
Any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have a green agenda in front of us. We need to approve that agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
A motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The agenda is adopted. Celebrations and community school reports, Andy?
Yeah, we don't have any, so I'll move right into my superintendent's report.
Very good.
We don't have any enrollment updates from our last meeting in June. Do have several buildings and grounds updates, as Tyler Garrison often does, provides an update of the extensive amount of work that the custodial maintenance staff does over this summer. If you've driven by our junior senior high school, you'll see some dirt being moved in action outside with our entrance projects, both at the gymnasium as well as our athletic fields. Those entrances are being worked on currently. The high school main office, some of the office allocations are being moved around, and there's be some light construction going on in there that Tyler is working on and getting parts ordered for that. The serving line at the elementary kitchen on the kindergarten through second grade side of the cafeteria, we've had one line for a number of years, and it's taken a long time for our youngest kids, especially the beginning of the school year, for them to learn how to use our food service and carry their trays and all those things. So we're going to add a second line on that side and use some of our food service allocations that we've had in reserve to pay for that project. So it's a very good use of that money, and will make that lunchtime, those pieces more efficient for our youngest learners. The softball fieldhouse project, the plans for that are currently at the local city level getting approved permits, and we're hoping to go ahead with that project and start moving dirt there this week. If you came in on the west side of the school building, you noticed Grady Construction was here today, moving dirt and preparing the ground for the addition of some concrete for outdoor learning spaces and expanded space for our kids when they're waiting in line to board and exit our buses. We have our 11-month walkthrough of the CTE building coming up, continuing to finalize things there. The glycol issue that caused some of our challenges with the heating system in December at our elementary building, all of that has been replaced. Thousands and thousands of gallons of that liquid that run through our pipes to keep our buildings temperature controlled. The track resurfacing project will take place late summer, early fall, and we're looking at some alternate methods to fix the tennis courts because our original plans did not come to fruition, but that's still on our list, still moving forward with working on that. No other really new information. We'll get to our strategic planning session following the conclusion of the business meeting here.
Andy.
Yes.
How, you're talking about the 11-month walkthrough for our completion of our building. How much?
Yep.
How much is left to be completed? Is there anything? Is it just minimal? Is it some supply issues that we are coming against, or?
Yeah, everything is obviously operational. We were in there the whole last school year. There are just some minimal final repairs on things and punch list items. And that 11-month walkthrough will take place July 27th.
Okay.
And then eventually we'll get I know I've been signing a lot of final financials in the last week, so we're getting close. And it's been a unique learning process through the construction piece of how long it actually takes to finish the project even after the building's operational. But
Correct.
yeah, they're minimal fixes at this
Okay,
point.
great. Good to know.
All right, any other questions for Andy? All right, moving on, we will need to review and approve the financial reports and bills. Jessica?
Okay. So you have the wires and transfers from June 7th to July 5th. We don't have anything out of the ordinary or standard payroll and other ACHs that come out of that. And then we have 3 different check runs in there. There's a single check run. The big thing I want to point out on that is we have a $3,826 payment. It's a standard payment to our companion corporation for our library subscription, annual subscription. Otherwise, most of these other bills that we have are just getting ready for the next 23-24 school year. So we have some smart board replacement on the payment register for June 27th, $17,040 to Bloom of Minnesota. And otherwise, the next, on the payment register that should be in the top right corner that says fiscal year 24. I just want to point out that we have our annual, our semi-annual payment of bond interest of $472,653. So, otherwise, all of our bills are normal, recurring, nothing out of the ordinary.
All right, can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the wire transfers for June 8th, 2023 to July 5th, 2023, the June 30th, 2023 single checks, and the payment of the June 27th and July 11th, 2023 bills.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments? Discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Jessica. All right, old business, we have none. Moving on to new business. This is kind of our annual organizational meeting. And I will make well, as such, we have a number of things we do every year that we just have to renew the appointments and designation. And so I'm gonna make a motion. It's gonna have 15 items. And so I will read them off as what we are going to approve. Then we'll ideally get a second, and then during the discussion, if we want to remove some or change some, we can talk about it then. I think that'd be the way to do it. So my motion to approve for the 2023-2024 school year are the following. Number 1, designate the second and fourth Tuesday of each month as the regularly scheduled school board meeting to be held starting at 5 p.m. here in this room, the William Budd Room in the Fairmont Elementary School building. Number 2, to designate Vague Midwest as the depository of school funds and authorize the superintendent and business manager to sign release agreements for pledged securities for collateral purposes and initiate and approve electronic fund transfers. Number 3, set the compensation for school board members at $1,800 for all members except for the president, who shall receive $2,400 annually. Compensation for each additional meeting outside of a regular school board meeting is set at $75 for a partial day, or if the meeting's a full day, then $150. Number 4, designate the Fairmont Sentinel as the official newspaper for the Independent School District 2752. Number 5, designate Matt Mahoney as the Title IX Compliance Officer, Human Rights Officer for Independent School District 2752. Number 6, designate Jessica Cord as the District Transportation Safety Director. Number 7, designate Kim Niss as 504 Coordinator. Number 8, designate Brooke Schultz as the Federal Programs Administrator as provided under Public Law 107-110. Number 9, designate Andy Trado as Homeschool Coordinator. Number 10, designate Annie Trado as the MDE identified official with authority to authorize user access to MDE's secure websites. MDEB, Minnesota Department of Education.
Correct.
Number 11, designate April Tortson as the homeless students liaison. Number 12, designate Jessica Cord as the HIPAA compliance officer. Number 13, designate Tyler Garrison as the health and safety coordinator. Number 14, set the substitute teacher pay at between $150 and $200 a day per incentive pay schedule. And number 15, authorize payment of bills between board meetings for the purposes of obtaining the discount or required prepayment on an order or to avoid a penalty charge. The district is also authorized to pay board bills in the event a board meeting is not held. The superintendent and business manager are also authorized to approve the processing of payments or for invoices submitted under contracts approved by the board and under circumstances when it is deemed necessary and appropriate to proceed with a payment. So I make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion or questions or?
Well, the only thing I would bring up for discussion is, years and years ago when I first came on the board, we changed the start time from 5:30 to 5 o'clock. I assume people are okay with that. I do occasionally bring it back up again just because I'm not seeking to change that time, but I didn't know if there was anybody who realized that we could change that time. But that's the one thing. And I think there was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, and I wanted just to mention that the compensation is the same as prior years. There was an increase several years ago, but this compensation for board members is the same as it's been for several years. So those two things I just wanted to bring up.
I would say, right, it's the compensation for the board is not unchanged. I would be all about changing that start time away from 5 o'clock. I would love a 5:15 start time personally. Now that we're not a block from my office, I'm going to have to make some changes on my schedule to make it at 5 o'clock to this space. Normally, it's easy for folks to come to the old space, right? They could park right outside and walk right in. Now, it's going to take them a few more minutes. I would certainly I'd be fine with a 5:15 to try to keep it as close to possible, but I can make 5 o'clock work. I'm glad you brought that up because
I just know that, like I said, years ago it was a different time, and probably even years before I had become a member of the board, it maybe had even been a different time. But I just know that sometimes, that yes, that can make a difference for people's lives and that. But then it can also make a difference the other way as well.
So let me ask you this, Andy, or Jonas is here, like in terms of convenience of the staff that's getting the space set up, does that extra 15 minutes help? Are they already set up and now they're gonna have to be here later? Like what's the convenience factor for them? I want to take that into consideration.
I don't know that 15 minutes will be a huge deterrent. Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, we were set up yesterday for this meeting. We have an adequate amount of time from the end of the school day, which, at the elementary is right at 3 o'clock. At the junior, senior high school, it's been 3:15 is when that's ended, so that would still gives us an hour and 45 minutes to get in here and get set up. Anything that would be different from regular school day operations in this room. So either way is fine. 15 minutes isn't going to be a huge difference.
What do you think, Mari? It wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't it hurt to have 15 minutes?
I'd be good with 15 minutes extra. My typical workday ends at 5,
Yep.
so then I wouldn't have to leave work early, which would be nice.
I
So
will go with the majority.
Well, that's a strong endorsement, Mari. Dan, I know you've got
My schedule's ever changing and fluid, so 5:15 would not be an issue for me.
Then it's only Nicole that's not here at this time then to discuss.
Well, shall we put that on the agenda for next meeting then? Or do you want to approve that now and
I feel
come
like-
back to it later?
Yeah, that's a good question. She's the board chair. I kind of feel like I want her input on it. So how about, we've had that discussion. I believe we could put this on the agenda at next meeting and change it. I think that would be, I can't think of why that wouldn't be allowed. All right, well, how about we do that, just to have, that's a,
As a
Tablable
single line item?
organizational
no, we'll
items,
table
or
that conversation on changing that time. We'll approve it.
Approve
if-
it and then
if
bring
Nicole's-
it back.
Then we can change the approval next meeting. So, all right, I think that's the right way to go. Okay.
That sounds good.
It's also important to note, of these items, we removed about 5 compensation items related to some hourly services that we contract out because they hadn't been changed for so long. One example is when we hire interpreters for different school events or school conferences. That number has not changed in a very long time. So that will be on an upcoming Staff Welfare Committee
So-
agenda for us to consider, along with a few others.
And I
So
think as long as if we change it, we're not changing it much, it would be effective starting in the school year anyway,
Right.
and we're having a meeting prior to that, so. All right, so, any other discussion on the 15 items? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. The motion carries. All right, next item of business is our membership in the Minnesota School Boards Association.
So I motion to approve the renewal of the following MSBA resources for the 23-24 school year. First one being the MSBA membership at a fee of $6,506. And second one being the MSBA policy service, which is a fee of $750.
Okay,
I'll second it.
All right, second from Mari. Any discussion on this?
I think for all the use that we get, all the resources that MSBA does provide for us as our district, I mean, really, honestly, it is increased, I believe. I don't know 100% what the increase was from last year, but it's money well spent.
And I agree, and I think with a lot of the statutory changes we saw in the recent legislative session, I'm anticipating that
yeah.
the policy changes are gonna be pretty substantial, so we're gonna get a good deal out of that, $750. All right, if any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, next item is that we have a memorandum of understanding with Counseling Services of Southern Minnesota. Julie?
Yes, the recommendation is to renew our current agreement with Counseling Services of Southern Minnesota, CSSM, for the 23-24 school year. This agreement allows CSSM staff to work collaboratively with district staff to provide mental health services for our students. And so with that, I'll make a motion to approve that continuation or the renewing of that memorandum of understanding.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion on the motion? I do have a question.
Yep.
This is a memorandum of understanding, but it feels like we're treating it like a contract. Is there a subsequent contract that we enter into?
We have no fiscal responsibility under this agreement other than providing a space for working. And I would say it's been a very advantageous resource for our students and families. We continue to have a waiting list at each of our buildings, and it's just a great resource that we've been able to take advantage of.
Thank you for that context. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we move on to personnel matters. Looks like we have one resignation. Mari, do you want to
Yep.
make that motion, please?
Shandon O'Brien, an elementary aide, has resigned. Shandon has been with our district since 2020. And with that, I will make a motion to accept the resignation of Shandon O'Brien, aide, effective June 6, 2023.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Continuing on in personnel, we have some new employments we need to consider. Dan?
Principal Bresky is recommending that Stacy Garbers be hired as Administrative Support Assistant 1. Stacy has served in the district since 2020 as a personal care assistant. And also, Principal Bresky has recommended that Christina Gonzalez be hired as the Community Outreach Coordinator. Christina has been employed by our district since 2018 as an elementary paraprofessional. I move that we approve those employments.
I'll second it.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on the motion? My question is, are we done on the outreach coordinator search? Is this?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, with these hires, we are, as of today, fully staffed and ready to go for the 23-24 school year.
All right. Plenty of time to spare. Good work, team. All right, any other discussion?
Both of those effective August 1st of 2023.
Yes. All right, first and second. Discussion's over. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on our agenda are board committee reports. I don't believe we have any.
Yes, Southern Plains, we met in June 26th, so last month, the end of last month. And just nothing really major was decided. We had some resignations, retirements, terminations, some work agreements were approved, some instructional staff sharing agreements were approved, and those were nothing different than what we've had in the past. Payroll agreement with Fairmont area schools, which has been in the past as well. An audit agreement with Clifton Larson Allen for the fiscal year 2023-24. And our next meeting then will not be held until August 28th for the beginning of the next school year. Anybody's interested, there is a list of the meetings that are included in the packet as well. But other than that, that's basically all it was.
Or are we?
It is 10 times a year, 9 times a year that we meet. And we do miss, like I said, there won't be one in July. There isn't one in December. And I think one of the spring months, February, we do not meet, so.
Oh, and there is no CER meeting in July.
Okay.
I'll be back. in
Everybody's taking
August.
vacation.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are adjourned.